Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest the guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
You won't believe what's about to unravel in the world of Hollywood. A scandal so big it could rival the darkest secrets ever exposed. Imagine this: Sean Diddy. Combs, the iconic music mogul, once seen as one of the most influential figures in the entertainment industry, is now at the center of a scandal that could shake the entire foundation of Hollywood's elite. The latest revelations about his infamous parties and the people who attended them have left everyone wondering who will be exposed next.
The story we're tracking: music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on side watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after 2 judges denied his request for bail. This as a grand jury is expected to hear new testimony from workers very soon. Good day, Lizette.
For years, Diddy was known for throwing the most extravagant parties, gatherings that were legendary in Hollywood. But as more and more details surface, these weren't just any parties. They were secretive, high-end affairs where the rich and powerful mingled behind closed doors, indulging in behavior that would leave most people shocked. The deeper you dig into these revelations, the darker it gets. Think of Diddy as the ringleader of a hidden network, orchestrating events that allegedly involved some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and now it seems the truth might finally be catching up with him.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
It all starts with Diddy's arrest. His name has been floating around for a while, with rumors of inappropriate behavior and suspicious connections following him for years, but nothing could have prepared Hollywood for this. The recent arrest of Diddy by federal agents has sent shockwaves across the entertainment world. He's not just facing accusations. He's being dragged into court for some of the most serious allegations possible, the kind that could bring down not just him, but a whole host of other celebrities in the process.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now.
This arrest has made everyone sit up and pay attention. But what makes it even more jaw-dropping is the possibility that Diddy might not be going down alone. Rumor has it that Diddy might start naming names, throwing some of Hollywood's biggest stars under the bus to save himself. And we're not talking about small-time actors. No, these are the A-list celebrities, the ones who have built their careers and reputations over decades, who are now at risk of being exposed. Everyone's asking the same question: who else is involved?
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
In one of the more explosive moments of this unfolding drama, Joe Rogan has taken to his podcast to discuss the allegations surrounding Diddy. Rogan, known for his no-holds-barred commentary, didn't hold back when comparing Diddy's case to that of Jeffrey Epstein. In a recent episode featuring UFC fighter Israel Adesanya, Rogan drew stark parallels between the two, pointing out how both had allegedly surrounded themselves with powerful people who, knowingly or unknowingly, became entangled in their secretive and questionable lifestyles. Rogan suggested that the real reason so many high-profile names might be panicking isn't just because of what they participated in, but because of what Diddy might reveal if he chooses to flip. If Diddy decides to name names, it could trigger an avalanche of new revelations that would send shockwaves through Hollywood, leaving a trail of ruined reputations in its wake.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than...
What makes Rogan's speculation even more concerning for Hollywood's elite is the idea that Diddy may have been recording some of his guests without their knowledge. Rogan hinted that if such tapes exist, they could not only incriminate Diddy, but also a host of A-list stars who have long been connected to him. Imagine the power someone like Diddy would have if he had that kind of leverage over his friends. Rogan mused, suggesting that many of the biggest names in the industry might be living in fear of what could come to light. The possibility of hidden recordings adds an entirely new level of scandal to the case, making it clear that Diddy's downfall could expose a much larger network of questionable behavior in Hollywood.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations including allegations that Combs had cameras throughout his homes where he videotaped.
Now, here's where things get even crazier. Many are drawing parallels between Diddy and Jeffrey Epstein. You remember the Epstein case, right? When Epstein went down, it wasn't just about him. It was about the powerful people around him. It was about the powerful people around him, the high-profile names that were dragged into the spotlight. Diddy's story is starting to look eerily similar. Like Epstein, Diddy was surrounded by a circle of celebrities, politicians, and business elites who attended his parties and engaged in behavior that could now land them in hot water. Could Diddy be the next Epstein? Is Hollywood about to experience a scandal so massive it'll make Epstein's case look like a blip on the radar?
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
Diddy's arrest has fueled these comparisons, especially after federal agents raided his properties in both Los Angeles and Miami. According to sources close to the investigation, these raids revealed a treasure trove of evidence that could implicate numerous high-profile figures. It's no longer just about what Diddy did. It's about who was there, who saw what, and who participated in these events. The agents reportedly found video footage, personal records, and even more damning evidence that connects other Hollywood elites to these controversial gatherings. You can bet that the entire entertainment industry is holding its breath, waiting to see who will be named next.
Clearly, there is a criminal investigation underway, and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
One of the most talked about aspects of Diddy's world is his infamous freak-off parties. Now, these weren't your typical celebrity get-togethers. These parties were exclusive events, known for their over-the-top decadence and outrageous behavior. They were secretive affairs where the guest list read like a who's who of Hollywood royalty. Celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Ashton Kutcher, and Bruce Willis were reportedly regulars at these parties. Photos and stories have been circulating for years, but until now, no one really knew what went on behind the scenes.
The issue is, it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
But here's the kicker. These events weren't just wild parties. They were allegedly carefully orchestrated setups designed to capture celebrities in compromising situations. According to some sources, hidden cameras were strategically placed around these parties, recording the behavior of Hollywood's elite. What for? To hold leverage over them, or maybe for pure entertainment. No one knows for sure, but the existence of these recordings has sparked panic among the celebrities who attended these gatherings. Imagine being a top actor, someone like Leonardo DiCaprio, who has worked hard to cultivate an image of respectability over the years, only to find out that video footage exists of you at one of Diddy's notorious events. And it wasn't just about attending a party. These events allegedly involved behavior that could destroy reputations, careers, and lives. The fear in Hollywood is real, and it's palpable. Actors who were once close to Diddy are now scrambling to distance themselves, worried that they'll be caught in the crossfire.
A criminal investigation for months by federal prosecutors here in New York. And if there are criminal charges, many of them may look a lot like what some of these individuals have been describing.
Leonardo DiCaprio, for instance, has been seen at many of Diddy's events over the years. The two were photographed together as far back as the late 1990s, attending everything from lavish birthday parties to exclusive Hollywood galas. DiCaprio even attended Diddy's infamous white party, where he was seen enjoying champagne and mingling with other A-listers. But as the scandal around Diddy has grown, sources close to DiCaprio have suggested that he has since distanced himself from the music mogul. The last time the two were seen together was in 2019 at Diddy's 50th birthday party. Since then, DiCaprio has remained silent about his relationship with Diddy, which only adds fuel to the fire.
That he controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
Then there's Ashton Kutcher, another Hollywood star who was once a regular at Diddy's gatherings. Kutcher and Diddy's friendship reportedly started in the early 2000s when both were making waves on MTV, Kutcher with his prank show Punk'd and Diddy with his music and party scene. They were often seen together, co-hosting events and attending each other's parties. Kutcher even helped Diddy promote his business ventures. But now, rumors are swirling that Ashton's personal life is being affected by his connection to Diddy. Some reports suggest that his wife, Mila Kunis, has even moved out of their home due to the scandal. While none of these rumors have been confirmed, it's clear that Kutcher's close ties to Diddy are raising eyebrows. And speaking of raising eyebrows, you wouldn't believe who else was at these parties. Bruce Willis, the legendary action star, was also known to frequent Diddy's events. There are even viral photos of him having a blast at one of these gatherings. One particularly infamous event happened back in 2003 when Diddy threw a surprise party for Willis at his estate in East Hampton. Sources say it was a night to remember, or maybe one Bruce would prefer to forget now. Witnesses recall how the party took a wild turn after midnight, with Willis diving into a swimming pool filled with revelers and having the time of his life. But as more details about Diddy's parties come to light, some of these memories might be tarnished, leaving Willis and others questioning how their involvement will be perceived by the public.
New at 5, the legal troubles continue for Sean Diddy Combs tonight after a judge ordered the music mogul to pay $100 million to a Michigan man who says that he was assaulted by Combs in '97.
According to court documents, Derek Cardello Smith says Combs and then assaulted him during an after party at a Holiday Inn in Detroit. But Combs never responded to the lawsuit in court.
It's not just actors feeling the heat from Diddy's scandal. Hollywood wives are being dragged into the drama as well, with rumors of relationships crumbling under the weight of these revelations. Ashton Kutcher's relationship with Mila Kunis is one of the most talked about examples. The couple, who have been Hollywood's darlings for years, are reportedly going through a rough patch due to Ashton's past ties to Diddy. Some sources even claim that Kunis has taken their children and moved out, possibly to avoid being caught up in the media storm. Others say they're planning to leave Hollywood altogether and relocate to Europe to escape the scrutiny. It's the kind of drama you'd expect from a movie, but it's happening in real life.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
But Ashton's not the only one facing relationship turmoil. Other Hollywood power couples are feeling the strain, too. Several reports have emerged about celebrities whose partners are demanding answers or distance from the whole scandal. Even Leonardo DiCaprio, known for his string of high-profile relationships, might find himself under pressure as more of his connection to Diddy's world surfaces. Could Hollywood marriages and long-standing relationships be on the line because of this? It sure seems that way, with many insiders claiming that we're only scratching the surface of the fallout that's yet to come. The real question now is, who will flip first? Diddy himself is facing immense pressure to save his skin, and if there is one way to do that, it's by offering up information that could drag others down with him. His former staff members, too, are reportedly coming forward, ready to spill the tea on what really went down behind the scenes at Diddy's parties. From bodyguards to assistants, those who worked closely with Diddy have a lot to say, and some of it is nothing short of shocking.
With this newest lawsuit, this would probably only expedite or increase the amount of allegations and potential witnesses who could testify against Sean Combs.
According to these insiders, Diddy's parties weren't just social gatherings. They were carefully curated events with specific intentions. Personal assistants have claimed that they were asked to organize the guest lists, making sure only certain people were invited, and that everything was meticulously planned. Some even allege that guests were provided with items to loosen their inhibitions, creating an atmosphere of excess and indulgence. And here's where it gets even more scandalous. These former employees suggest that hidden cameras were present at nearly every event. Diddy, they say, wanted to document everything, perhaps to hold on to the footage for leverage or simply to ensure that he had proof of what went on in case things ever went south.
Do you believe Diddy is a dangerous person?
Yes.
If these claims are true, it means that some of Hollywood's biggest stars may have unknowingly been filmed during these events. The thought of hidden cameras capturing every move is enough to make anyone squirm, especially those celebrities who were frequent attendees. Could this be what's driving the recent panic in Hollywood? The fear that these tapes might come out and expose them in ways they never imagined? One insider shared that Diddy's team was always on high alert during these parties, ensuring that everything went smoothly and that no one could interfere with the setup. Security was tight, and guests were often warned about the exclusivity of these events, which made them all the more enticing for Hollywood's elite. But now, as these revelations come to light, it's clear that the exclusivity was about much more than just having a good time. It was about protecting the secrets within. As we dive deeper into this story, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. Diddy's arrest isn't just about him. It's about a whole network of celebrities, business moguls, and even political figures who were drawn into his world. And now, with everything hanging in the balance, it's only a matter of time before more names are exposed, more careers are ruined, and more lives are turned upside down.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
The biggest question on everyone's mind is, who will Diddy throw under the bus to save himself? With his back against the wall, it seems likely that he'll start talking, revealing the names of those who were closest to him during these infamous parties. And if he does, it's not just his career that'll be over. It could mean the downfall of Hollywood's elite as we know it.
That's of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
As we transition to the bigger picture, we'll start to explore how deep this scandal really goes. With Diddy facing multiple lawsuits, there's talk that more celebrities, even beyond the world of film and music, could be implicated. Could politicians or corporate leaders also be caught up in this mess? And what will happen when the full extent of the evidence is revealed? Stay tuned as we dive even further into this unfolding scandal. Because if you thought things were wild now, just wait until the real truth comes out.
Problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
The cracks in Hollywood's glamorous facade were starting to show, and the Diddy scandal was threatening to bring it all crashing down. As more information came to light, the question on everyone's mind was clear. How deep did this go? With the sheer volume of accusations and the growing list of lawsuits, it seemed like Diddy wasn't the only one with something to lose. The network of powerful individuals who had attended his infamous gatherings was growing larger, and it wasn't just party invitations at risk. Reputations, careers, and legacies hung in the balance. The initial shock surrounding Diddy's arrest and the disturbing details about his private life was only the beginning. What followed was a wave of lawsuits, each one more explosive than the last. From young actors and models to industry insiders, many were now stepping forward, filing suits that painted a dark picture of Hollywood's elite and their behavior behind closed doors. The list of high-profile names connected to these claims continued to grow, and it was clear that Diddy's trial could drag even more of Tinseltown's finest into the spotlight. The most terrifying aspect of these allegations, the rumored existence of video footage from Diddy's private events. Sources claimed that there were hours upon hours of footage showing some of Hollywood's most well-known faces engaging in behavior that could ruin their lives. Bruce Willis, Will Smith, Leonardo DiCaprio. These were just some of the names allegedly tied to the tapes. The videos, if they were ever made public, could turn Hollywood upside down. Some said Diddy had installed cameras at these parties to film everything that went on, and now the possibility of this footage leaking was giving A-listers sleepless nights. The question was no longer whether Diddy would go down, but how many others he would take with him.
And let me tell you something else. Not only should he have apologized to Kathy in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to.
While rumors swirled about the videos, celebrities began scrambling to distance themselves from the scandal. Lawyers were working overtime, trying to keep their clients out of the headlines. Quiet settlements were being made behind the scenes as more plaintiffs came forward, eager to expose the truth. According to insider reports, several of Diddy's close friends were discreetly paying large sums of money to avoid being named in lawsuits. Legal experts predicted that this was just the beginning of a massive ripple effect that could extend far beyond Diddy's immediate circle. As Tony Busby, the high-profile lawyer representing many of Diddy's accusers, said, "We're going after everyone who enabled this behavior. Celebrities, businesses, anyone who profited off these parties." The scale of the scandal was truly unprecedented. It wasn't just about Diddy anymore. It was about the culture of impunity that had allowed him, and others like him, to operate in plain sight for years. Hollywood had long been known as a place where the rich and famous could get away with anything, but now it seemed like that era was coming to an end. The growing number of lawsuits indicated that the tide was finally turning, and the public was demanding accountability from those who had stayed silent for too long.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
One of the most striking aspects of the case was the number of enablers allegedly involved. Diddy hadn't acted alone. He had a network of people protecting him both in Hollywood and beyond. Record label executives, high-profile lawyers, and even hotel managers were all said to have turned a blind eye to what was happening at Diddy's events. These parties weren't just exclusive. They were insulated by layers of security and secrecy. Making it difficult for anyone to speak out. Now, with lawsuits piling up, those who had helped keep the truth hidden were starting to feel the heat. Could this scandal be the beginning of a reckoning for Hollywood's power players?
These are all allegations that have become shockingly familiar against Diddy in recent months as he has faced lawsuit after lawsuit from women and men who have accused him of all manner of bad behavior.
As more lawsuits emerged, one thing became clear. This wasn't just about individual celebrities behaving badly. There were whispers of a larger conspiracy, a culture of silence that had allowed Diddy and his associates to operate with impunity for so long. Many of the allegations pointed to a systemic problem within the industry, an unspoken understanding that as long as you played by the rules and kept your mouth shut, you could get away with anything. But now, those rules were being rewritten, and the fallout was reaching some of Hollywood's biggest names. Among those caught in the crossfire were younger stars, aspiring actors, models, and musicians who had been lured into Diddy's world with promises of fame and fortune. Many of these individuals had been drawn into the darker side of Hollywood, where they found themselves manipulated and exploited by those in positions of power. Now, years later, they were speaking out, and their stories painted a disturbing picture of how the entertainment industry preyed on the vulnerable. These young stars were not just victims. They were living proof of how deeply rooted the problem had become.
Special housing unit is a 24-hour lockdown unit which means that any movement within that unit is controlled and coordinated, and no inmate moves outside of his cell without being in full restraints, to include leg irons, handcuffs, a belly chain, and at least 2, if not 3 staff members escorting them.
Then there were the political connections. One of the most surprising names to surface in connection with Diddy's parties was Prince Harry. While there was no evidence to suggest that he had been involved in any wrongdoing, his presence at some of Diddy's events raised eyebrows. Could it be that the scandal would stretch beyond Hollywood and into the world of politics? Prince Harry had long been known for his rebellious streak, but being tied to a scandal of this magnitude was something else entirely. Whether he had known about the darker side of Diddy's world or not, the mere fact that his name had been mentioned was enough to spark media speculation.
This is in the matter of Derek Lee Cardello Smith, MDOC number 267009 versus Sean Combs, Sean Puff Daddy Combs, also known as Sean P. Diddy, also known as Diddy, Bad Boy Records label owner.
Meanwhile, the legal battles were ramping up and corporations with ties to Diddy were scrambling to cover their tracks. Hotels that had hosted his infamous gatherings were now being investigated for their role in facilitating these events. Record labels that had done business with Diddy were nervously watching as more details emerged, wondering if they too might be implicated in the scandal. Even some of Hollywood's biggest studios were rumored to be distancing themselves from the star, fearful that their association with him might tarnish their reputations. Behind the scenes, Hollywood's elite were panicking. Rumors of more lawsuits and settlements spread like wildfire, with many trying to stay ahead of the storm by cutting deals before their names hit the headlines. Some stars were said to be planning moves abroad, hoping to escape the relentless media scrutiny. The ripple effect of the Diddy scandal was clear. No one in his orbit was safe, and the longer the legal battles dragged on, the more names would be dragged into the mess. At the center of it all was Diddy himself. Speculation continued to swirl about whether he would flip on his famous friends to save himself. With so many lawsuits and accusations piling up, many believed that Diddy might cut a deal with prosecutors in exchange for revealing more about the celebrities who had been regulars at his parties. If that happened, it could blow the lid off Hollywood's best-kept secrets, exposing a world of scandal that had long been hidden from the public eye. The implications for the entertainment industry were huge. If Diddy did testify, it wouldn't just be about his own actions. It would be about his own actions. It would be about the entire network of individuals who had protected him and participated in his world. Some were saying this could be the next big scandal to rock Hollywood, on par with the Harvey Weinstein case or even bigger. Could Diddy's trial finally bring down the house of cards that had allowed so many to get away with so much for so long?
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those 2 raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
As the legal battles heated up, the anticipation surrounding Diddy's potential testimony grew. People wanted to know, would he name names? Would he expose the celebrities who had partied alongside him, or would he protect them to the bitter end? Some speculated that Diddy might not have much of a choice. If he wanted to avoid the harshest penalties, he'd have to start talking. But others believed that he might still hold enough power in Hollywood to keep his secret safe, even if it meant taking the fall alone. Ultimately, the future of the trial was still uncertain. But one thing was clear. Hollywood was in the midst of a crisis, and the fallout from the Diddy scandal was far from over. As more lawsuits were filed and more details emerged, the entertainment industry's dark underbelly was being exposed like never before. Whether Diddy's trial would lead to a full-scale reckoning for Hollywood's elite remained to be seen, but the fact that so many were already feeling the pressure was a sign that change was on the horizon.
Dawn had the choice to file the case as a Jane Doe, and she chose not to do that after giving it a fair amount of thought. She wants accountability. She wants justice.
Now that the scandal is unfolding at an alarming pace, the real question is, who else will be dragged into this mess? Could Diddy really take down some of Hollywood's biggest names to save himself? Or will he keep the darkest secrets hidden to protect his legacy? And what do you think? Will this trial change Hollywood forever, or is it just another scandal that will eventually fade away? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned as we uncover even more shocking details.